Willow Creek Springs presents Healthy Living with your host, Joe Grumbine.
Hello and welcome back to the Healthy Living Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Grumbine, and today we have back with us Dr. Robert Hoffman. We're always glad to have you, Robert, and welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Joe. Always glad to be here.
Well, every time, we have our Sunday meeting, and you never cease to amaze me with either a question you ask or an answer you have or something you throw out. It seems like you've got this wealth of information and discernment, and I just I've seldom met somebody who inspired me and impressed me the way you do. And I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. This is real stuff.
Well, thank you, Joe.
And so this last week, you shared a paper, and it's funny because, well, it's not funny. It's interesting. I talk to a lot of new people now. I'm kind of on a mission to share what I've learned with people as much as I can, especially people that have been diagnosed with cancer. And it's funny. The universe somehow seems to direct energy at you when you are wanting or capable of doing something like that. And I have now cancer patients that I talk to 2 or 3 a week that somehow come from somewhere or another. I don't know.
Well, you're attracting them.
Exactly. And the first thing I do is I share with them, my story in a real brief way that I can. And then I share with them the information that I got from you about the diet, the enzyme, and the 4 o'clock call. Those are the things that I try to impart while I have their attention. And I never know if it's going to stick. I never know if they're going to check in or if they're going to listen or whatever. But one by one, I know eventually some of them will. And I know some people are getting a better chance to live or live a better quality of life because of some of the things I've told them. And that's all I can do is
for sure.
is tell them. But one of the things when I've been talking to more and more physicians as well, and when I talk to them and I mention you, turns out there's a bunch of Dr. Hoffmans in San Diego.
Oh, yeah, everywhere.
Almost every one of them goes, "Oh, yeah, I know Dr. Hoffman." I go, "I don't know if you know this guy." And
they don't know me.
Anyways, I explain, the kind of work you do. And I talk about the papers that you have published. And I think that that's really important. I want to talk about that today. the process of publishing a paper. And I especially want to talk about the paper that you recently published, your experiment showing the comparison of methionine restriction and cysteine restriction.
Mm.
And I want to bring a little point of reference. As I have gone down this journey of solving this cancer problem, I have run across so many people with so much information. And some of the people I've run into speak very confidently, and they speak as though the words that they say are scientifically proven. But most of the time they're not.
Well, in cancer, not a whole lot is proven, Joe. We know this direction or that direction, and we have a lot of information, but not many things you could say are proven.
Agreed. But when you listen,
we're not at that level.
But when you listen to some of these people talk, and some of the books that have been written, and people will take they'll take an experience they had, And I think what happens more than anything is that people will create a connection, a correlation between something they did and something that happened when it doesn't necessarily belong, and they certainly didn't prove it. And then they talk about it as though it's gospel truth. And when you talk about something confidently and emphatically, ultimately you're going to get people to believe you. And
Well, yeah, if you say it often enough, it kind of sticks.
well, and a lot of these people had cancer. They did a bunch of things, maybe including some standard of care, maybe including some diet changes, whatever. And then maybe now they don't have it, or maybe it's in remission, or maybe it's gone, it's reduced. And they will speak about this thing they did as though it unequivocally did this other thing. And
Yeah, there's no logic to that. It
I
may
know,
have or it may not have. It's it it's 50-50. There's no, if the same thing happened to many patients, we'd start to believe it more.
right,
If laboratory experiments would corroborate what they did and the result they got, that would solidify it very more. That Dr. Exame always talks about the levels of evidence,
absolutely.
from loose talk to phase 3 randomized clinical trials. And unfortunately, in cancer, there's a lot of loose talk. There's these people that say they're expert, they write some book, and then people quote from the book, well, this guy in the book said this, it must be. Um, that's unfortunate. Um, if somebody did this and got that, we can't say no, that didn't happen,
Right.
or that's not the reason, and we can't say yes, that's the reason. Um, it's a one-off,
Agreed. It's something,
and
we did all these things and
if
we
we
saw
keep
something
seeing the
happen.
same result, that adds, as Dr. Exame would say, to the level of evidence,
Right.
and that's good. But you'll hear a lot of, oh, I read it in this guy's book, and this guy, yeah, and this guy sells a lot of books, and yeah, okay. That's unfortunate. A lot of these people, that claim themselves as experts, are making a lot of money,
Right.
and they're making money from very vulnerable people. The cancer patient is, you know, they're so vulnerable, and so many of them, rightly so, are so desperate. Um, uh, it ain't fair.
Exactly. Well, and that's one of the things that when I talk to people, I find a decent percentage of them will tell me, well, I'm on this program or that program. And, as though I know all these programs, I know some of them, you hear about these things enough and you're like, oh, okay. And there may be elements of it that are good, I mean, if you're
Joe,
gonna,
when you get that, I think it's, let it be, let them be. I think it's very difficult to convince these people who think they know something that it may not be so.
right.
And I don't have the energy, and I don't think, even if I had the energy, I don't think I could do it. I couldn't uh, put them into a logical mode and question what they've been thinking. No, I think these people just, oh, that's working for you. Good.
Yeah,
That's the
generally
energy.
I'll give them a 2-minute spiel and let it go. And
Yeah, let it
most of the
go.
time they
You can
don't ever
say,
come back.
hey, you may want to come on our Zoom or
Right,
whatever, but I don't think they will.
right.
It's very interesting to me how many people we have invited to the Zoom that
I
never came.
I
What do
I
you got to lose for an hour? I mean,
Agreed.
We say how this Zoom is so supportive of the cancer patient, and it's just the patients on the Zoom are so unique and sharing the great information. And geez, I mean, did you even last week, the brother of the patient, Paul, such a
Right.
nice and smart man,
Yeah.
and well, my sister may or may not be listening. What's that all about? I mean,
Right.
I
She
feel
was,
so
but
sorry.
my God.
Paul is so dedicated to his sister
Right.
and reading scientific papers and understanding them perfectly.
Yeah.
And well, can you say this or that? My sister may or may not be living. Where's the sister?
Exactly. The one
There's
that
so
should be
many
right
folks
there.
like this. Come
Yeah.
on the Zoom. I get inquiries 2 or 3 a week, whatever. Come on the Zoom.
Right.
And it's the rare one that comes on. And okay, I don't know. Is partly maybe uh if it's not their doctors saying, well, why would they contact me if they were so, if the doctor is giving them everything they want? Obviously not. But
Right.
the percentage of people that come on the Zoom when I ask them to,
Yeah.
it's less than 1 out of 10.
Oh, yeah.
And of those who come on, the majority, it's a one-off, the one-timer, and that's it. It and that makes me more and more appreciative of the people who come every week
Right.
in, week out. They're there, they're listening, they're sharing. Um,
I think there's a couple elements to it. I think one of the elements that is going to be impossible to overcome is the things that we talk about are difficult to do.
Hi, this is Joe Grumbine, and I wanted to share an update. The platform that hosts this podcast has made some changes to the subscriber settings, and we have a number of subscriber-only episodes that we offer to the supporters, and for a minimum of $3 a month, we can get you signed up. And if you're already signed up and you're having some kind of trouble locating these episodes in the other platforms, I would say maybe the best answer is to unsubscribe and then resubscribe. I'm sorry for the hassle. I don't have any way to make a change, but I'm very grateful for all the support. Thank you.
that's right, Joe. That's right. And for example, at UCI, they're committed to starting this trial on low methionine diets for the cancer patients.
Right.
And I'm betting they haven't recruited one. Um,
Exactly.
it's difficult, and
Right.
it's amazing. You have cancer, and you have a hard time changing what you eat, but
Right.
it seems for some people that's the case.
Exactly. You know what? This is what I have to say to all of them. You know what else is difficult? Dying of cancer.
Yeah,
You know,
it's terrible,
that's a lot
and
more
it's
difficult.
not a nice death.
No, it's a
Um,
horrible death. And
yeah, and so many can stay alive if they
exactly.
put their mind to it. Um, okay, I'm learning in my very late age. I'm learning a lot about human nature I never could imagine. But okay,
Well, I'm
here's the way I
always
look at it, Joe. Everyone who comes on or everyone we can help, it's great. What does the Bible say? You save one life, you save everybody, or it's something like
exactly.
that.
No,
Um,
and the thing is I look at what we're doing like a lighthouse. There's a beacon out there that's on, and every Sunday at 4 o'clock, if somebody was to remember, I always make sure I send them the link, I send them the papers, I send them the chart. I send them everything. I have kind of a package that when I talk to somebody, I'm like, let me send you an email. It'll have a bunch of links to it. So I know that if for whatever reason you get that epiphany or that moment of transformation where you're like, you know what, there's something about this. I want to go check it out. That link's going to be good. The
I
information,
think so too. And
we're
no
going to
matter
be
how many people don't pay attention, the people that do pay attention, they're a treasure to themselves and to the other folks too.
exactly. Well, I want to talk about these published papers because I believe, you know, the case study that you published on my case has been has given me a tool that allows me to connect with especially medical experts, physicians, practitioners, because they can't refute the source when they see that it's a peer-reviewed,
Well, you
published,
see,
or
there's all, the pictures are like a movie of your tumor melting away.
exactly.
And that we've got the beautiful scan.
Yep.
And the issue is, again, you did a lot of things. We don't know which one was the most critical. Maybe they're
Right.
all equally critical. We don't know. All we
Right.
know is we got a good result.
Yes.
And um, and we're hoping more people will try this and maybe they'll get a good result too.
Exactly.
Dr. Ishiguro is now writing a paper about the lady with head and neck squamous cell carcinoma who recurred after horrible surgery,
Right.
recurred terrible, and then Dr. Sato treated her with immunotherapy, and she took methionine, low methionine diet, and right now she's in remission.
I love
So
it.
this is a great story. Hopefully
Yeah,
it'll come out in a couple months, 2-3 months, whatever.
I love it.
So when you start getting repeats, you say, "Hey, wait a minute. We're getting the level of evidence is rising."
Exactly. Well, just so you know, I did get my CT scan.
Have you got the results yet?
Yeah, they said a few days. So
We got it on Tuesday.
yeah.
It's
So
only Thursday.
exactly. I should get it before I see Dr. Song on Monday. So
Okay.
that's
Here's
my
I
hope.
want to give you my thinking on this. I don't
Yeah,
know if it's correct thinking or not.
sure.
Um, this TV, it's gonna be positive or negative.
Right.
If it's negative, you can say, well, I want to go to a higher level of resolution.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go get the MetPET.
Right.
Okay. If it's positive, you could say, well, something the CT scan picked up something, but is it an active cancer?
Right.
And maybe I should get a MetPET in that situation.
Agreed.
So I don't know if you can argue for the MetPET either way. In my opinion, the CT scan is very valuable. Um, the negative is very encouraging, but it's not a proof.
Right.
The positive can be somewhat discouraging, but it's not necessarily bad.
Right.
Um, and we have the next level available. I
Exactly.
mean, is the MetPET the ultimate scan? No, but
It's
it's the
certainly
next level above what everybody else is getting.
well, and we talk about these scans and the things that they show, and they've got all different kind of scans. You got ultrasounds, you got MRIs, you've got CT scans, PET CTs. Now you got the MetPET. You got all these different types of instruments that register all these different things, but none of them, except for probably the MetPET, specifically identify activity from cancer cells.
That's right. But yet, even the MetPET probably has a limit of detection of a few millimeters. So
Exactly.
the small little residual cancer is not going to register on MetPET. So how do you deal with that? You get another one the next year or after 6 months. That's,
Yeah,
I think.
I,
So
I agree.
you have
I
to
think
always understand, I think, the level of what the level of evidence that the scan gives us.
right,
A positive in any case is something that needs to be dealt with right away. Is
right,
and what is it? And it may even necessitate a biopsy.
right.
Okay. We need to know the level of evidence that we're getting and then act on it.
Agreed. Agreed. I think also they're coming up with more and more valuable blood tests that are
The markers are good. They're
yeah,
not the ultimate. They don't prove anything, but they're surely informational. And the trend is really important. Oh, I got a high PSA. Okay. What does it look like next month? Oh, well,
right,
it's the same. And what about the month after? Well, it's the same. Well, okay, that's your baseline.
right.
It's the trend that's really important in any blood marker, in my opinion. Um,
Agreed.
a high level is not always necessarily the, a high level of the cancer, but it certainly says it might be. And some people, some cancers just they don't make that marker, and that maybe that the cancer is so advanced that it's losing its ability to make things, and it's just all it does is grow. Um, so we don't know, but the trend and the doctors, I don't know. I mean, if I'm a cancer patient, boy, I'm going to get my marker at least every month, maybe every 2 weeks. Some people are getting it every week.
Right,
I get it. It's so easy.
right. Well, I think that's I just like solving the cancer problem for each individual person. It's an individual therapy. Like what
It's a full-time occupation.
it is absolutely a
You have
full-time.
cancer, whatever else you do in your life is secondary to
It's
what you're
so
going to do
funny. I
about
try
your
to explain
cancer.
that to people. I go, okay, they're telling me, oh, we need to do this and you can do that and you can do this. I go, listen, right now, you know what I'm doing? I'm staying alive. And that's the thing that I spend most of my time doing. And
Right.
that requires me to remember to eat the way I eat, to make some of the things that I make, to take some of the supplements I'm taking, to
It has priority over every other thing in life.
everything. Exactly. And I go, if I got any time left over, I got to try to make some money so I can pay for all this stuff. And if I got any time left over from that, maybe
Uh-oh.
I can consider this thing you're talking about.
Uh-oh.
You all right? I still hear you just fine.
We got stuck, Joe.
Oh no, you're okay on my side.
We got stuck.
Can you hear me all right?
Hmm. Uh-oh.
You're okay on
Yeah,
this
we're good now, Joey. The
side?
internet had a speed bump.
All right. Well, I want to get into this study, this last paper that you published, and the reason why is I know a lot of people that follow along a certain line of thinking when it comes to solving the cancer problem. And they follow along with a group of people that have a certain um, set of protocols. And one of the protocols is that cysteine, which is another amino acid, is equally as important to restrict, um, to slow the cancer down, just like the methionine restriction. And I, it makes some kind of sense if you're not looking at science because they're very similar. The foods that are in that have a lot of methionine generally have a lot of cysteine.
And they're related metabolically.
Exactly. So there's a lot of reason that you might think that if you target cysteine rather than or as well as methionine, that you'll do better. But you didn't just sit there and go, that makes sense, so we're going to talk to people about it and promote it. You actually laid out an experiment and ran it. I'd like you to kind of share a little bit about that because I think it's really important. I hope the people that were on the call really got the gravity of what you shared. I know some of the people on the call are, in line with this other protocol as well. And I walked away from it after a couple of weeks because it just didn't seem right. And then you and I talked, and some things you said just told me I didn't want to be there anymore. And but this just really cemented it for me that we got to be so careful about who we're listening to and what is the evidence that says this is what we're doing. You've got hundreds of papers that validate not only the efficacy of reducing methionine from your diet, but also the safety that there is no harm that anybody's seen from a low methionine diet, except for sometimes you can get a little low in albumin and protein, and you got to balance that out. That's really the only thing to be mindful of, and of course keeping your weight up because it's a hard diet to keep weight on. But other than that, there's no toxicity buildup like the sodium, selenium, and some of these other things that people are taking. Um, so why don't you tell us a little bit about this experiment that you ran? And you just published a paper on PubMed, and it's been reviewed, and it's out there. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Okay, Joe. So the best experiments are the really simple ones. So this one is very simple and very direct. So we took a mixture, an equal mixture of cancer and normal cells, and we cultured them together. We call it a co-culture. And the nice thing is the cancer cells and the normal cells in this case look very different. The normal cells are elongated. They're a kind of cancer cell called a fibroblast, fiber, elongated. And the cancer cells are more roundish and obviously very different in morphology. The cancer cells also were engineered to express um, a jellyfish fluorescent protein. It's very simple. Introduce the gene, they light up. It doesn't change anything. So and then another crucial thing was to get very defined medium. So we bought medium, cell culture medium. Right? Has lots of goodies in it, lots and lots of goodies in it. But we got this defined medium without methionine, without cysteine. Okay. So we can add back the cysteine, we could add back the methionine, we could add back both. Real simple minded. Okay. We got this medium in which we can add what we want to add, either the methionine or the cysteine or both or neither. Okay. So then we cultured we cultured the co-cultures with one of those media, 4 choices. So if you culture them with lots of methionine and lots of cysteine, the cancer cells just overtake the culture. They just grow on top of all over the normal cells. It's very interesting. You can barely see the normal cells in the co-culture when there's a normal amount of methionine and a normal amount of cysteine in the medium. Okay. That's good. It shows how differently they grow. Okay. Then if you take both out, Joe, you try to culture them, grow them without methionine and without cysteine, everything dies.
And
Okay.
how quickly did that happen? Was it
It takes about 4 days, 5 days, 6 days. It's a relatively short amount of time.
okay?
Okay. Within the week, let's say. Okay. Then we did our old experiment, which we've been doing for 50 years, and other people have even done it longer before. Culture them with um, with cysteine, but without methionine. Okay, and the cancer cells almost all die off, and the normal cells, they hang right in there. Maybe they don't grow quite as well, but they grow. They're okay. Take
They
out the
started that
methionine, and you keep the cysteine. And that's what we've been doing for decades and decades. We did this in this case for comparison. Okay, so it's a kind of positive control. So then we did the next experiment. We left the methionine in, and we took out the cysteine. And what did we see? The cancer cells died. No surprise there, but so did the normal cells. So can we say that cysteine restriction is a cancer-specific vulnerability? Heck no. Can we say that methionine restriction is a cancer-specific vulnerability? Yes. You take out methionine, you keep the cysteine in, you kill off the cancer cells, and the normal cells hang in there. So that's a cancer-specific vulnerability. The normal cells are not vulnerable. But you do the opposite. You keep the methionine in there, and you take out the cysteine, you kill them both. And it's ironic to look at the literature in the most fancy of journals, Cell and Nature and this one and that one, looking at cysteine and what it does to the cancer cells, and they don't do it. And this gene and that gene, all this stuff going on, and how this is a great way to target the cancer cell and blah and blah. And they don't do the simple experiment on the normal cells. I mean, somebody in 10th grade would have that idea. It's amazing to me. And there's a whole lot of experiments showing, oh wow, you restrict cysteine, you take cysteine out, and you zap those cancer cells, and wow, cancer cells need the cysteine for redox. They need it for this and that. It looks like the normal cells need it the same way. So, to be honest, this was like a high school science fair experiment. I mean, we have a lot of experience. We did everything very carefully controlled and blah, and blah, and blah. But the whole concept is so simple.
Right.
Where's everybody been? And I like the concept of a co-culture. For me, is very cool because in the same dish, under the very same conditions, are the cancer cells and normal cells. So it's internally controlled.
Right.
Everything's same. Oh, this dish was different than that dish. Hey, no. The cells are growing in the same dish, same well.
Right.
So there you go. I mean, is this the ultimate experiment? No. Somebody's going to say, well, the normal cells you use are too sensitive. I'm going to use this. Oh, you took away all the cysteine. I'm going to put in a little bit of cysteine. And that may be so. It may be that if you test the gradation of taking out the cysteine, we might find something. But we did it the same way. We took out all the methionine, kept the cysteine, and cancer cells got zapped. Normal cells did quite well. So in the same way, we took out all the cysteine, kept the methionine, and they all died. So yeah, there's a lot more experiments to do. and there might be some nuance there that we missed, and there's a good chance of that. But to me,
It certainly
what are we
gives
wasting our
a
time for?
baseline.
Well,
Yeah,
we went to the extreme in both cases, and we showed one was a cancer vulnerability, which we knew for 60 years or something, and the other one, and cysteine not. So my reaction is, why, for us, we're not going to waste our time on cysteine.
right,
Somebody else might want to show, oh yeah, you didn't, if you put a little cysteine in, you might get some better effect. Okay, go
right,
do it. I'm not interested,
right.
because to me, that has no comparison. The cysteine uh, restriction has no comparison to methionine restriction. I'm going to focus my time, as I have for these 50 something years, on methionine restriction. Now we're doing a similar experiment with glutamine. I don't want to give away the story. It's been submitted for publication. No, it's been accepted for publication. It'll come out in a couple of months, and I'll
Right.
have that for you. So I don't want to tell the story now,
Yeah,
because
yeah. No, I'm looking
I
forward to
want your
hearing it once it's
podcast
published.
people to come back.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay,
Well,
so
I'm
um,
really, I'm really grateful that you're doing this work because, frankly, if somebody was going to try to experiment on themselves, you could potentially get real sick or even die.
well, yeah, I'm not sure how. Yeah, I'm not sure really how to. Yeah, I guess you could invent a Hominex type diet without cysteine.
Right. You would have to do
I
it
wouldn't,
without
boy,
problem.
I wouldn't go near it. I don't think that, um, uh, um, I don't, you know, yeah, I mean, the Hominex idea, where homo comes from, homocysteine,
Right.
for these kids who have horrible, not even homocysteinemia high in the blood, but homocysteinuria high in the urine. So these
Wow.
kids have awful homocysteine levels because they're lacking a gene that produces an enzyme that lets them metabolize it. And so it's live or die with this diet. You
Well,
take away
for me,
methionine, there's not going to be any homocysteine.
that supplement or that medical food has been instrumental because I've been able to, work out more, get out there in the yard and build some muscle again, and I don't have to think I got to eat a whole bunch more protein. I just take more of that and I get everything I
It's
need,
got the other 19 amino acids.
everything but the methionine, and I'm building
It'll just
muscle. I'm
scavenge whatever methionine you have left and make all your proteins. Um,
exactly.
and and then by doing that, the free methionine is not around there to do the damage.
Well,
So
I think that's one of the
when methionine is in the protein, it's a good boy.
exactly. I think
Um,
that's
so
key elements.
anyway, imagine a Hominex that has no cysteine. Oy,
Right.
that's what would be toxic, Joe.
I get it. I get it. And I remember when I was talking in that other group about Hominex, and that was one of the things that got pointed out. Well, it has cysteine in it. And I said, well, yeah, that's okay. I mean, and I
It's a
didn't
good thing. Next time you'll tell them it's a good thing. Read Hoffman's paper.
I don't go to that group anymore. I just I don't spend my time doing things that I don't think are productive.
I surely agree.
But I just think this is really important, and I just want the message in all of this is verify your information, check and see where's it coming from. Is there it's a peer-reviewed published report that validates even a little bit these things that you're questioning or considering doing or not doing. And you only have so much time and energy. I think that's the most important thing to remember here. Like with all the chemo I've done, my brain's slowly coming back, but it's still, I have to marshal the mental energy that I have, the clarity that I have, and make sure I use it right. And that's one of the things that, I have like a an order of priorities, and my diet is the highest in that order of priorities. And then we go down from there, and there's all the other things that I do and don't do. And I just think that if you've got enough energy, people are doing this and doing that. And most of the people that I talk to were on a similar diet to the one I was on prior to meeting you. And that was like a keto type diet where they're eating a bunch of protein, not eating any sugar, not eating any carbs, not eating fruit. And it's just backwards. And when I
By
try
the
to
way,
tell
just to keep your podcasters coming back, we did the experiment with glucose too. We
them,
compared the
okay, well,
glucose
we'll talk
requirement of
about
the
that in
cancer and normal cells.
a
And
future
I ain't telling the
episode.
result. They got to.
Good. Well, we'll get into that because it's just so important. I think when we
We've submitted that for publication now.
beautiful. Well, after it gets published, we'll get into it. But I just want to tell the listeners that if you get faced with a problem like cancer, there couldn't be a more serious problem to solve. And if you're going to go about solving a problem, really consider number one, where you're getting your information from. And number two, this is a lesson that I got hit with really hard. Thought I was a pretty smart guy. I thought I knew a lot of stuff, and I had to unlearn half of what I knew, and it was very humbling. And I had to really accept that maybe something I thought I knew was wrong, and I really had to make that be my baseline and then go back and relearn everything and measure it against the level of evidence that was presented. And a lot of things I kept and a lot of things I had to throw away, and it was a very humbling experience. It's changed me forever. I think it's made me a better person. I think
I'm sure.
so just if you're going through this, if you've been diagnosed, keep your mind open. Consider where you're getting information
Yeah.
from.
Consider the level of evidence.
Absolutely. Well, Robert, as always, we get going, all of a sudden we blow through the time, but this was really, really important and impactful. And I just really am grateful for all the years of work you're doing and
Thank you, Joe.
the diligence that you just keep
You
on
give me a lot. You give me a lot of encouragement.
Well, I'm going to keep on doing as much as I can. I will
Okay.
look forward to seeing you on Sunday and then
You
again.
bet. I'll be there, and I look forward to the next podcast. Anytime you want me, I'm all yours.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, this has been another episode of the Healthy Living Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Grumbine, and I want to thank all the listeners that make the show possible. And we will see you next time.
You bet.
This has been another episode of the Healthy Living Podcast. We produce this show so that people can share their stories, people that have overcome obstacles, people that are undergoing obstacles. We're building a community of health-minded individuals. If you're interested in supporting the show, please leave a review on the platform you're listening to it on. If you're interested in becoming a guest, please send an email to itsjoegrumbine@gmail.com, or you can send a note into the notes section of the podcast. All right. Well, thank you for supporting this show, and we hope you've enjoyed it.